started. Hey everybody, how's it going? Mario Delgadillo here out of Dallas, Texas. And today at our weekly sales and recruiting training, we're going to continue through our process and our system. We've already covered prospecting. And today we're going to talk a little bit about a very simple piece to the puzzle, which is the approach and the contact of clients. Okay, so as always, guys, we always start with our core values because every decision we make is really guided by our core values. First and foremost, integrity. Guys, pretty simple. Always do the right thing. Don't do the right thing for you, right? Don't do the right thing for the company. Always do the right thing for the client. Number two is ownership. Respect your business like you do your job. A lot of you guys are doing this on a part-time basis, meaning you have a full-time job and you're doing this on the side. What I see many times is that people, for whatever reason, even though their heart and their passion is in their part-time business, they treat their job with more respect than they do their business. Now, work hard, guys. Give 100% in blocks of time. And so what does that mean to me? Listen, if you're allotting 3 to 5 hours a day, right? If you're on a part-time basis or, and you're saying, Mario, for 3 hours every day, I can do this business. Well, then for those 3 hours, give 100%. So I would say be full-time on a part-time basis. Honesty, guys, the truth is good enough. One thing that I will always say is that from the leadership level down, we are always going to tell you the truth, not what seems to be okay or a half truth or a partial truth. And then the last is fun, right? Winning to me is fun, right? Sadly enough, we're in an environment and in a day and age where everybody gets participation t-shirts and trophies. But, you know, I have no problem in our community of people rewarding people who are winning and doing the right things. And to me, there are always perks, advantages, and privileges to winning. And so finally, guys, is loyalty. Be true to yourself, your family, and the team, and to the company in that order, okay? So that said, let's get into the information that we're gonna talk about today. So in review, there's a sales process with us. The first step is prospecting, right? That's where we learn there's a difference between a lead and an actual prospect, right? Because we have to, everyone is a potential lead, right? But there are certain things and certain factors that turn somebody into an actual prospect. We covered that last time. Today, we're going to talk about the approach and contact, okay? Next, we'll be talking about presentation. How do you present the information, whether it's in person or like us, the vast majority of us, if not all of us, meet over Zoom or on virtual platforms. And then follow-up. We've heard this a million times, guys. The fortune is in the follow-up. But sadly, this is probably the least focused on of our sales cycle. The next is referrals. If you get good at generating referrals, guys, you will blow your business out of the water, right? I'm telling you guys, don't get caught. And that's why we've created a system that is not revolved around or reliant upon buying leads. Leads are a supplement to your business when and if you need it, okay? I'll tell you right now, I have so much business on the books, guys. It's unreal. Like, I don't even have enough time. My daughter comes and she like waves at the door and she goes like this to me today. Coffee? Do you want coffee? She knows I can't even go get coffee, right? And there's not one dime being spent on leads, okay? The next is maintaining customer relationships long-term, right? We want long-term money. We want renewals. We want to build a real book of business. And so there is a way to maintain those. So we're going to talk about each one of these. But today we're going to focus on, and again, our system is designed to take you around this sales process. Everything we do is just going to be taking you around the sales process over and over again. So a couple things that to keep in mind, as always, I want you to rank yourself 1 to 10 on each area. 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Where are you? One of my mentors said, Mario, you will master this industry when you can rank yourself 9 or 10 or above in every area, right? See, the thing is that we sometimes, well, Mario, I'm really good at prospecting, right? Or I'm really good at presenting. I'm not so good at referrals, but I'm really good with this. You're always going to have holes in your boat if you don't push yourself to get good in all areas, right? I always say to people, we have these grandiose ideas, we have these grandiose dreams and desires and goals that we want from this industry, but then we're not willing to say, I am going to be the very best in every single area of my business, but I'm going to have to work towards that, because some things are easier than others. Some things do become more come across or just happen more naturally for some people in one category or another than the other. So it's okay. But once you identify where you're at, we want you to focus on getting there, okay? And then the next piece to that, before we get into it, is now that you've identified where you're at and you're growing to become an actual professional in each area, the second skill is, can you teach this sales process to someone else, right? Because when you can teach that and you can start duplicating yourself, that's when you're really only ever going to make money. That's when you're only really ever going to make wealth. And you guys have heard me say this. Our model is created for expansion. It's created for growth. Why? Because I'm in the business of helping you guys become wealthy. And you can never become wealthy if your money is reliant only on your efforts. So if you're here today and all you've ever done is sell, that's awesome. You can actually make some pretty decent money doing that. In fact, I would go as far as to say you could be rich being a salesperson. Rich, in my opinion, is $200,000, $300,000, right? But you'll never be wealthy unless you create a system that is making money without you, okay? Because sooner or later, you're gonna fry out. Sooner or later, you're gonna say, dude, I've been at this thing 8 to faint, Monday through Saturday, every single day for 6 years. And man, while I got a nice house and a lot of money in the bank, I'm tired. I can't do this anymore, right? So that's the idea, guys, is that we create a duplicatable system. So let's talk about the approach, okay? The approach this, so new customers are the lifeblood of any organization. So the initial contact with a potential client, however, can be intimidating even for experienced sales professionals. So let's call a spade. As important as putting new clients or potential clients into your pipeline is, even for the most experienced person, it's difficult. How many of you guys have been somewhere and maybe you're at, I don't know, a restaurant and you're waiting in the lobby and you're waiting for them to call you to go to your table and you hear someone chatting and they're talking about, yeah, man, she's a freaking 401k just went backwards and I don't know what I'm going to do because this is crazy. I almost don't want to put in on it anymore. And you're sitting there looking and you have this internal conversation. Okay, do I say something? What do I say? Like, should I insert myself into this conversation? And you start telling yourself all of these things. And then before you even come to the conclusion, they say, Mary, and that whole group of people leaves. And you're like, crap, right? You just hesitated on an opportunity to possibly talk to somebody and to get your name out there, right? I want you guys to start thinking in your hometown, in your area, if when they hear the word, people hear the word retirement, when they hear the word asset protection, they should think of you, right? Because you're gonna gain that identity by following the system first and foremost, but by always chatting with people, by introducing yourself, by always throwing the seed, right? But it's nerve-wracking, it's scary, okay? So ideas, options, and plans that you can execute every time help turn prospects into clients. Guys, I hope you're not going to get on today and expect to have like this secret sauce, right? Like, okay, hold on, guys. Let me see. All right, here it is, guys. This is what's going to make you $1 million. Not going to happen, okay? Because, guys, there's about 5 or 6 things that you do in this business to be successful. 5 or 6. And you just got to do them every single day in and day out, right? On your mom's birthday, on your dad's birthday, on Jesus's birthday, every single day, you got to do it. And you got to string it along and you got to be disciplined enough to do that and you'll be successful. So today we're going to go over just some basic fundamental things that I hope you can grasp. And then I always say, I've found success when I turned on my mind's eye to doing something, right? If any of you guys have heard me talk about this before, it's actually called the reticular activator. The reticular activator is your mind's eye. Well, what the heck does that mean, Mario? Well, when I bought my wife a brand new black Chevy Tahoe, I mean, we put the good package on it, right? It's got the leather interior and everything that she needs for the kiddos, because that's an important car, right? She's got all the kids in there all the time, and if there's not something for them to do, unfortunately, they'll kill each other. So I remember bought the car, and then as soon as we drive off, I'm like, there goes one, there goes one, there goes one. I was like, is there like Chevy Tahoe sale today? No, they were always there. The problem is my mind's eye, my reticular activator, we're not turned on to it. And once it is, you'll start seeing it everywhere. The same thing's going to apply. Once I teach you these basic, simple, fundamental skills about how to identify a client, how to approach a client, you're going to see clients everywhere. Whereas maybe yesterday, you're like, man, I can't find anybody, right? Or man, once you turn on your mind's eye, they magically appear. I promise you, it happens all the time, okay? So identifying the ideal potential clients. How do we identify somebody to approach? That's first and foremost, right? So we talked about prospecting and the mindset behind that, and we've got a lead, and then we turn that lead into a potential client. But one of the things that I've always said to myself is when I wanted to identify, I'm kind of trying to decipher whether or not this is somebody who is worthy of me calling or not, or worthy of me pursuing or not, is I would always say, is this person macho? Okay. So what the heck does macho mean? See, when I think of macho, I think of Macho Man Randy Savage. Okay. Maybe I'm dating myself here. Okay. But the Macho Man was, the wrestler that we all love, right? And actually, it depends. If you were a Hulk Hogan guy, you probably didn't like Macho Man. But I'm not talking about that Macho Man. It's an acronym. Okay, so the acronym is this. Are they married? Okay. Are they age 25 or older? Do they have children? Do they own a home? And what's their occupation? So there's not a one answer per, but as you go through this macho example, you're going to find out if this person is a good fit or not, right? So are they married? No. But if they're 35, they don't have to be married, but if they're 35, yeah, they probably have some type of, opportunity for retirement planning. Do they have children? Yes. That means that they have more of a reason why, because they want to leave a legacy or they want to prepare their family. Do they own a home, right? Well, yes, they do, or no, they don't, right? So, and then what's their occupation? It's not to say that every person doesn't need insurance. But remember, we don't sell term policy. That's not my job. It doesn't say term salesman. I'm a retirement strategist and I protect assets. So somebody who owns a home has an asset, right? Somebody who has children and is married and has a six-figure job, the likelihood of that client, right, needing my help is tremendously higher. Okay, so with that being said, look for macho people. The next is the approach. So what I always say is meet them on their level. So depending on your age, okay, and your experience, you might have a differing opinion. So what I mean by that is, listen, right, wrong, or indifferent, y'all, dealing with warm market or people, text messaging is always appropriate. Okay, like I say, right, wrong, or indifferent. Because if you're a little older, you might say, all this text messaging crap. What happened to shaking somebody in the hand, right? What happened to walking up to somebody's house and grabbing a cup of coffee with them, right? I get it. But right, wrong, or indifferent, this is the way we communicate, okay? I remember somebody said a couple of years back that somebody in their family network unfriended them on social media. And then they called him out on it. Like, dude, why did you unfriend me? How come we're not friends on anything anymore? And the answer was really weird. But the guy was like, don't sweat it, dude. It's just social media. And I was like, wait, what? Like, that actually means something, right? Even though it's just social media, right, wrong, or indifferent, social media is now a massive part of our life, right? So if somebody unfriends you, not just on Facebook, but then goes and finds you on Instagram and does it, and then finds you on Twitter and does it, they don't want you in their life. And you can't make light of that. And so the reason I share that example is because society has changed. Norms have changed. So if you're a person who's a pick up the phone person, yes, there are certain times when picking up the phones is way better than texting. Like if you're dealing with leads, right? I've bought leads from vendors before and they're like, yeah, we have a text strategy, an email strategy. Listen, I'm going to tell you this much. As long as I've been in this industry, the only fruit I've really ever had with clients and leads is calling them and getting them to say hello, right? It's a contact sport in that realm. But when you're dealing with people you know, a text message is fine. It's appropriate. In fact, I'll tell you this much. The average person calls about 5 people. Okay? Your mom, your wife, maybe your kiddos, and your best friend. Right? That's really it. You don't believe me? How many of you guys have gotten a call from somebody and you're like this? Why is Joe calling me? Right? It's like awkward. You're like, what? Why is this person calling? And then what do? Well, if it's important, they'll leave a message, right? Because we're so ingrained. There's a 5 people that we talk to on the phone. Everyone else, it's awkward if they were to call us. But then we get into this environment and we feel like we have to call everybody. No, stay on their level, okay? And so I said here, 5 people you call, everybody else gets a text. So there's 2 types of contact. So now we're going to go into the contact, right? So now this is all customer acquisition focused, by the way, guys. Today is all customer acquisition focused. As you know, our Thursday trainings flip-flop between sales and recruiting. And guys, there's an extremely big difference, okay? So today is not recruiting focused. Today is customer acquisition focused. And so the first is the financial seminar approach, okay? Some of you guys have already had your financial seminar. Some of you are getting ready to have your financial seminar. I'll tell you, the financial seminar, especially in this economic climate, is gold, okay? I'm telling you, I'll go as far as to say just about every single client that you've seen close in the last week has come from somebody's financial seminar. So it works, okay? And it's the favor approach. The next is the direct approach, and there's also the indirect approach as well. So I'm going to go through some of those for you guys. So when you look at the financial seminar, okay, some things to keep in mind. Now, I do know that some of you guys are like brand spanking new and you're like, what in the heck is a financial seminar? You'll be brought into the fold. We'll train you, coach you up appropriately. But the financial seminar, remember, we are not asking them to show up and buy you anything. They're there to support you, okay? So the idea or the ask is, hey, Rachel, I just got hired with a financial services company, doing it on the side or whatnot. Anyhow, I need to get certified. So I'm not asking you to buy anything, but I'm hosting a financial seminar on Thursday evening over Zoom, and I need some observation hours. Would you do me a huge favor and just hop on and support me? Once again, you don't have to buy anything. Not here to pitch anything. We're seeing 10, 15, 20 people show up, right? And if you guys can agree with that and you've had your financial seminar, type in an amen just so that we can know that it's not just me talking here. So the idea is we're throwing the bait in the water, right? We're just saying to those macho people that we know, hey, I need you to come and support me. I'm trying to get some observation hours so that I can get certified as a financial consultant. And yeah, Daniel's in all caps. He just closed 2 policies. His first one, I think it was, I want to say $7,000, 2 weeks out of the gate, never been in the industry. First deal, $7,000. And then he followed up with a term product, and we're closing another one here in the next day or so. Isabel just closed a $31,000 annuity last night from her financial seminar. And the guy wants to actually do an IUL as well. Okay. So the idea here, guys, is we're trusting the process. Okay. Throw the bait in the water. Okay. Now, so you can't say the right thing to the wrong person and vice versa. Bottom line is this: they're going to show up to support you. We go through the information, and here's what happens, guys. We're banking on 2 things. Number one, we're banking on the information is so informative that they sell themselves. And it happens. Guys, we're presenting the information and people are like, I see them going like this. When I say stuff, it's like, they're like, because they're agreeing there. And then I also see them going like, oh my gosh, yeah, that makes sense. So the information is so good that they sell themselves. Then the second is that the market has forced people to be open to better options like they've never been before. So what I tell folks is the guy that you know that has his own business or has always been successful, right? 3 years ago, if you were to try to sell him any type of financial product for retirement, I'm good, man. Really? Yeah, my IRA is jamming. Right? My Roth IRA just made me 22%. I'm good. I'm going to the lake. Now he's down 45%. He's terrified because there's no end in sight. So they jump on to just help you out. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. So these are the two things that we're banking on. But here, guys, is the absolute worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is we fulfill our mission. Our mission is to educate middle America. That's the worst case scenario, okay? Here's the second part of that is that you brand yourself. You start to brand yourself as the person that they should turn to or anybody that they should turn to should they need help. Have you guys ever met, I have two of them in particular in my mind, that two family members, well, one's a family member, one's a friend. They've been in the real estate industry for like 20 years. And they never work. It seems like they're just always chilling. But they always produce. Always. Why is that, guys? Because they've put in the work over the years and they are now branded. They are trusted. And they have a client base of people who constantly send them referrals. They've now sold homes to their children's children, right? To second and third generations of families. They've sold multiple homes to the same family. And so they don't have to get out there. Like when you compare brand new real estate and insurance agents to like veteran, the brand new folks are like, Mario, if you knock on 200 doors, you're going to get one policy, right? And there's actually agencies out there that teach you to knock on doors, right? I see Rachel going, right? So, and it's the same with real estate. But then on the flip side, there's agents, I'm one of them, that I get at least 3 to 5 solid referral leads in business every single month. And it's the same thing, like, man, Mario, would you go knock doors with me? I'd be like, no, thank you. Not going to do it. But I've taken the time to really prepare the field. Sometimes you're sowing seeds, sometimes you're watering, right? And that field will harvest at the appropriate time every single month, year after year. So the idea here is sometimes these folks come to these financial seminars and right now is not the right time for them. And I say this often, sometimes a no is not really a no. Sometimes it's a not right now. I can guarantee you those of you that have already done your financial seminars, mind you, we just launched, right? So there's only been a couple of weeks where we've been doing them. Those of you guys that had these boatloads of people that showed up to your financial seminars and they said, oh no, we're good. Because that's what they say. Hey, we follow up after and say, hey, just wanted to find out if you had any questions or you were interested in kind of taking a look at anything for yourself. No, I'm good right now, man. Hey, thanks for having me on. I promise you, 90 days, 6 months, a year later, those people are going to come back around because something's going to get bad. And they're going to be like, dude, we've got to call Carla. Remember that thing she was telling us about where like it's protected against loss? I can't lose anymore, man. We got to talk to her. And that's when it starts coming back to you. So you're branding yourself. You're educating, which is our mission, right? We always say mission over commission, right? We believe in what we do, and then we're branding ourselves, right? Because we truly, truly want to make sure that people understand that this is our profession, right? It's not, I was talking to a new hire today and I told him, I hate saying I'm in insurance. I don't know about y'all, I hate it. If I was at a cocktail party tonight and somebody says, hey, Mario, what do you do for a living? I wouldn't say I'm in insurance. I feel like, oh, really? Who do you work for? Geico? No, right? Who do you work for? State Farm? No, I'm a retirement strategist, and I do asset protection. What does that mean? I help people build wealth. I take on a whole new identity, right? You guys should take on a whole new identity and carry yourself as such. And everybody in your area should know you as that, guys, because posture and how you feel about yourself and how you think about yourself is probably one of the main reasons why you'll get clients. Because people are like, man, there's something about, Nev. He just carries himself different. I know he's trustworthy. I know that if I go to him, he's gonna have the answer, right? He's gonna know which way to guide me, and they trust that. So now the next step, guys, is the direct approach. So the direct approach is where you identify somebody and you say, okay, yep, they're macho. So I want to go right at them. Okay, and again, I'm not going to tell you anything that is, oh my gosh, Mario changed my life today with this script. Okay. But hey, listen, hey, Joey, have you ever sat down with a retirement strategist to plan out your retirement plan? Okay, very simple. Just ask them. Okay. Did you know that 87% of Americans have never said, 87% of Americans are going to say no here. Okay. So this could be over a cigar. This could be while you're watching the game. Okay. So no. Hey, not sure if you're aware, but I recently got licensed to help people plan for retirement. Hey, let me go over some strategies that I've been using for people right now to stop the bleeding. Real simple. But the buzzword there is stop the bleeding, because every single person you know is bleeding right now. I heard a speaker the other day talking, and he was in the insurance industry. He said, guys, some of you have actually heard me say this. Some of you are going to receive this and say, you know what, bam, that's genius. He's like, I think a small few of you might get offended, but okay. If you can figure out a way right now to monetize fear, you will make an insane amount of money. Monetize fear. People are afraid. Be the solution. Be the answer, right? Again, like I said, some of you guys might go, man, that sounds pretty hardcore, right? Some of you guys are going to understand the opportunity that you have your hands on right now and say, man, from 2023 to 2026, I made about $6 million. What? How? Yeah, I was at the right place at the right time with the right company. I got my freaking butt to work, and the economy was horrible, man. We were helping people hand over fist, left and right, all day long. Then now you have a 3-year run where you made $6 million, and guess what you do now? Anything you want. You take that money and you invest into other businesses, you fund a bunch of different things for yourself, and you create wealth. If you guys were on the wake-up call this morning, remember we said first thing you got to do is get your own finances in order, and then you can start to learn how to make your money make money for you. So a lot of people are on the, hey, let me get my own finances in order first. But the next level is, how do I make that money make money for me? Okay, so very simple. Hey, have you ever sat down with a retirement strategist to plan out your retirement? No. Okay. Not sure well, what if they say yes? Okay. Well, you can kind of take a piece from the second one on that, and we'll come back to that. But if they say yes, I'll give you an answer on the second one. Sure, why not? Perfect. Hey, does tomorrow at 10 or 12 work for you best? One of the keys to closing calls is don't give them the opportunity. I see so many times when I'm on these 3-way calls, somebody will say, hey, are you open to learning a little bit more? Thanks for being on the financial seminar last night. And they say, yeah, actually, it sounds pretty cool. I'd definitely be open to learning a little bit more. And then the agent goes, well, cool. What does next week look like? Like, next week is long and it's a ways away, right? Oh, you know what? I'm not sure, man. Let me get back to you. And I'm like, see you later. Because life gets in the way, right? So here's the answer. Does Monday at 12 or 2 work better? Ask them a question that is direct, right? Get them into that particular deal, right? So then, now here's the indirect way, and I use the indirect way a lot, okay? So, hey, brother, I need a favor, right? Yeah, what's up? Okay. Hey, if you ever hear anybody that's kind of complaining about their 401k right now, would you think of me? I specialize in stopping the bleeding, especially right now with the market being so bad. And the majority of my business is referral based. Okay, sure thing, right? Awesome. Hey, by the way, have you ever looked at your own strategy? See, because a lot of times before you even get here, they'll pull themselves in. Well, I mean, well, what is it that you do? Because they're not going to tell you, but last night he was talking to his wife about how his 401ks lost $41,000. So before you ever get to this point, they're probably going to hit you up. Okay. So it's the indirect. But remember I said, if somebody says yes, hey, have you ever sat down and planned out your retirement strategy, right? Over here. If they say yes, go into here or something similar. Say, oh, cool, man. That's awesome. Listen, if you ever hear anybody that's complaining about how they're losing money in the market, whether it be on their IRA or their 401k, man, just think of it. I specialize in helping people stop the bleeding, especially right now because the market's so bad. Yeah, man, I'd appreciate that. Awesome. Thanks, brother. And you just keep on your day. People will come to you if they believe that you have their best interests at heart, right? So I've been married now 19 years or 18 years, together 20 years. So I'm going to share this example with you, but maybe I'm going to dust off some of my old skills here, but it's been a long time since I've been in the game. You guys know what the game is, right? Going out there and dating and talking to people and this and that, right? It's been a long time since I've been in the game. But I do remember that the guys who seemed very, very needy, who were always the chasers, usually weren't very successful. But for whatever reason, it was the guy or the gal who just didn't seem to care. That's the one that all the girls wanted. Like, you could be the Mr. Nice guy and open the door and yada, and then like that guy that just came in was like, whatever, I don't really care, right? And he was kind of like, hey, how's it going? And then walked away. And that was the one that was like, they always wanted. They always chased that guy. I always say in this industry and in sales, never come across as if you need them. Because then everything you do and everything you say comes across as if it's you focused instead of them focused. So, hey, I'm having a conversation with somebody and it's like, yeah, man, I help stop the bleeding and da-da-da-da. All I can internally, because I've done this so long, I can internally feel like a light flashing. Okay, you're doing too much, stop. Because it's going borderline to like, now it's about me and not about them anymore. I've even said, but hey, man, we're at the cocktail party, dude. We're having some beers. We're watching the game. Right now is not a good time to talk about it anyways, man. So anyways, that's what I do. So how's your son doing in football? Change the subject. Be the guy that is not trying to chase and watch how they come after you, because we're just fishing, guys. That's all we're doing. We're throwing the bait in the water. It's a numbers game. It really is. And you just have to realize the more numbers, the more times I get in the batter's box, the more times I throw the line in the water, the likelihood of me being successful goes higher and higher. So if you're talking to one person a day or 25 people a day, right? Whether it's walking in a chamber of commerce meeting or at a mixer or at a youth football game, whatever. If you're opening your mouth and you're talking to people, the likelihood of you connecting is going to be higher. It's kind of common sense. So with that being said, guys, very simple today. We're going to have a Q&A session, but before we do, I'm actually going to stop the recording.